You failed. You have failed the goals that you have set for yourself when you turn 23. Why does it seem like you are always failing? Why should anyone listen to you? Your life has been easy. You are lucky and privileged. You are naive to think that you can help save the world. You aren't no savior. What makes you think you deserve the life you have? This is all true. I have failed, and I'm extremely lucky and privileged with the life I have. Being born in the United States with the time and opportunity to make these videos is a gift. I live in a world where I don't have to worry about my next meal or how I will survive. Instead, my biggest worry is how I can achieve the goals that I set for myself. Having this freedom and opportunity should be enough, and for that I should be grateful. But I can't help but feel guilty and unworthy. I know I can do more. I know I have opportunities that not many people in this world have. Yet, I can't help but feel unworthy of it all. I am driven to serve others, to make an impact in a meaningful way. Yet, it's hard to see any progress being made within myself and with what I do. Maybe I'm being impatient, or I have these expectations that are way too high for myself. It's causing a strife within me. Every day we are faced with decisions. It scares me deeply because the decisions we make today greatly impact who we become, and who we become greatly impacts the people around us. We can choose to have a better attitude towards the world. I know it's hard, but we must be clear in our thoughts. It's easy to be hateful and pessimistic of things in our lives, to be dissuaded from kindness and compassion. Regardless, there's a decision we have to decide that could greatly impact others. And constantly this year, I feel like I have chosen way too many distractions that didn't necessarily align with my goals and ambitions. It's difficult because it's hard for me to distinguish between work, rest, and play. As an entrepreneur, I see myself as a project that needs constant improvement because my success is strongly dictated by actions and results. So it feels like I need to be constantly working to have consistent results. And if I'm not getting consistent results, I'm not working enough. I know there's more nuance to it. It's easy to get frustrated, to not have all the answers. Most of the time, I don't really know what I'm doing. One thing I do know is that I want to live. I want to be able to rest and play, to enjoy the time I have with others, with my mom and dad, with my family, with my girlfriend, with the people I love. It's a hard conflict I have with myself. I often have a difficult time trying to balance it all. It's a constant struggle.
Struggles. Let's see. I would say the hardest part was probably when you got sick. That was probably the worst time because I was scared for you. You know, it was a scary time. It's something that I never, had experienced or know anyone who's experienced something like that. Just because we didn't know, but I think as we educated ourselves and talked to your doctors, I think, we came to understand how to react or how to, get through it. It wasn't an easy time. It was like, wow, it was really scary. And, we got through it. I still worry. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still worry, but I think you've developed skills to know how to cope. I mean, there are times when you probably have anxiety attacks, and, I worry for your sisters too, because you never know. This is a different world, and a lot of things are coming at you. Like when we were younger, we didn't have the same worries as you guys did. Or we were so ignorant that we didn't know. Ignorance is bliss, So when we were your age, it wasn't hard.
Still foggy to me.
Yeah, which, you were heavily medicated, so I don't think you will remember a lot of it. It was a scary time because, you were scared, and, there was nothing like we could do to sometimes alleviate your fear. And, slowly but surely you came back to us,
After hearing my mom say all this, it really struck a chord in me. I wanted to go deeper into it, to ask some more questions on my depression when I was 14 years old, but I couldn't. I did not want my mom to relive those memories. Then, I questioned in my head, was I really sick? Can I consider my depression as a sickness? I really hate labeling it as a sickness, as that would imply that it was something that I couldn't control. I know there were things that I could not control, like how my brain was wired. I was sick. It was hard for me to accept. And during that time in my life, I really questioned what my purpose was. I struggled to find answers, and my self-image was so fragile that it led me to be paranoid and anxious, to lose sleep because I thought I wasn't worthy of the life I had, that I didn't deserve existence. I know my doctors would not agree with me, and my memory still remains foggy of that time period. So maybe I'm not the best person to say this. I'm conflicted. I hate placing it as a mental ailment as I don't want that to be an excuse. It's a tough pill for me to swallow, but I was just really at a point of utter despair. It was hard for me to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was struggling with my own existence and a reason to live. It wasn't like I wanted to die. I just didn't know why I deserved to exist. I understand that they sound quite similar, and the line between the two can be quite blurred. But I'd say there's a huge distinction. During that time in my life, I couldn't help but stare down the abyss of meaning. It consumed me. The darkness consumed me. The voices in my head consumed me. I didn't know my purpose in this world. I didn't know why I mattered, my significance in the universe. In a world filled with darkness, all I could see was myself. All I could hear was my own voices. All I could do was rely on myself to get out. I really was at rock bottom. This truly was a pivotal inflection point in my life. But I'm glad it took the direction it had, that I experienced the bottom early on in life with the support systems that I had. My family, my friends, the school staff, teachers and doctors, wrestling team, and my dog. Everything that led me to the light, I will be forever grateful. I learned a lot about myself, about the world, about how my mind worked. This crucible moment really carved the person I am today. It's a scary thought that there could have been a possibility where I wasn't here, if I hadn't chose to live. Now, how do we determine for ourselves if life is worth living? The short answer is always yes. Life is worth living. Of course, it's not always easy. I would be lying if I told you that I'm free of it all, because I don't really think it's something that you could just get over. It's something you just learn to live with, practice in the mind. This past year I found myself spiraling again, losing sleep and experiencing the same feelings I felt long ago. This is bound to happen. There are going to be days where you feel like you fall back into that abyss of meaning, where you lose all self-confidence and control. But you can't give up. You've got to learn to live with these feelings inside of you. It's like failure. We are human. We often fail to find the meaning in the things in our lives. However, the only thing that we absolutely must do is live. To have radical hope in oneself that everything will be okay. Everything else, in the grander scheme of life, is trivial. In this human experience, we are driven to survive, to live, and to feel alive. We are driven by curiosity to dream for more, to expand our minds in the bounds of human consciousness, like the universe ever expanding itself to no end. This may lead us to feel insignificant as we ponder on the scale of space and time. But isn't it a bit crazy how we are able to just pause and think about it? To truly reflect on the depthness of our human experience, of our whole being. How lucky we are to have this capacity, this ability, this power of the mind to just think of our own being and existence. It's a very freeing feeling to wander in your own thoughts, but I often need to humble myself before God, the world, and the universe. You've got to stay grounded. Don't lose your mind. It's a wild ride life is. Sitting here in the garden with my mom was a reminder that life is worth living. There are so many reasons to live, even if there seems to be no hope left. There is hope. No one can take that from you. The only person that can is you. You are your own last hope, and I hope this serves as a good reminder to continue to live life. Do you think that's the meaning of life, Mom?
There's many meanings to life. I think, you find meaning in everyday stuff, and you can find meaning in the big stuff. But I think truly, if you're doing something that's making you grow, or doing something that makes you happy, or doing something that, you feel in your heart, that's where you belong. I think that's truly, what it is about living a good life. I don't think you have to make the most money, or you don't have to be the most famous person. I think sometimes that's almost a misnomer of success. I think if you're, I can smell the pot. Smell the pot. I think it's that guy with the kids. But sorry for the intrusion. But no, I think you find your happiness in even just the daily stuff. I think if you lead a good life with a good heart, you're never not going to be unhappy. I mean, there are times where you're going to be sad, there are times where you're going to be angry, there are times, but that's life. But I think overall, in general, if you're doing the right thing and you're doing it for yourself, and still being kind to others, I think, you'll be fine.